This is Phantom Electric Ghost, and we're live on our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter channels. And this episode, we're going to talk about Dawless recording and expansive sound. So we've created a video that talks about our Dawless solution. If you see behind me, a lot of hardware synths and sequencers and hardware recorders. So we're going to run this film that we did showing the details of our process. They include the new Zoom R20, the Akai Force, a Zoom Live Track L8, Roland Boutique JD-08, and a Behringer DI Ultra Pro box, DI box. So we're going to go into that, and then we're going to show some music that we actually created from this on YouTube. But before we get into that, you want to check out newsly.me, which is an iOS app you can get from either going to their website or going to the App Store or going to the Android store. And if you use coupon code GHOST2021, you can get 1 month free premium subscription. So what is Newsly? It reads the news back to you in a natural human voice. And so you can stop scrolling and start listening. So again, use coupon code GHOST2021. Yeah, that still works. And you can get 1 month free premium subscription. Now, the other partner we have is Double Jack Online. So if you actually take your smartphone and scan that scan code, you will be able to go to Double Jack Online, and they do online philanthropic lottery. So you can play a Euro lottery, you can play Keno, Powerball. You take your smartphone and check that out. In addition, you can just go to the link below, which is doublejack.online/Phantom Electric Ghost, and you can become an influencer, and they'll give you like a URL like you see below there, like the Phantom Electric Ghost one, and they'll give you a scan code. You can create posters, and when you perform or do stuff online like what I'm doing, you can get side income because people, if they play the Powerball or the Keno, or they go and they participate in creating NFTs, which is like crypto art, digital art, you can get, side income from that. And they also do crowdfunding. So they can do crowdfunding to fund your project, to do an album, do some vinyl, get on tour. So you want to check it out, Double Jack Online. You become an influencer, you get side income, help your projects out, and also give it to charity. So this, we think, is a win-win for everybody that's a band looking for extra income. So we're going to get back to the ghost mode, put our logo back up, and we'll talk about expansive sound with this film that we've got set up. We're queuing it up now. We got it set up to go, and then we'll talk to you all later. This is Phantom Electric Ghost, and this is more exploration into expansive sound. You see our hardware studio, and here we've got our Akai Force, and we've got our latest acquisition, which is the Roland Boutique JD-08, which is a fantastic machine. A lot of people like the JX-08, but I'm kind of partial to this because I was a D5 user back in the day in the 90s, which was like a pared down D50. And this machine has a lot of aspects of kind of like the D50, except it's got this time variant filter and time variant amplifier. It's got the ability to do these palettes with the tone A, B, C. And it's really important, the fact that you have this A, B, C, D, which is different tones on the PCM samples. And we've got it hooked up to the KB25. And then we've got it connected into our Akai Force through both the USB MIDI and through a 1/4 inch line, which we've got like the 1/8 of an inch line to a 1/4 inch here. So on the Akai Force, you can see that you can use the USB MIDI. It immediately recognizes the Force and the Boutique. We've got it coming in on a line, and it's very easy to set up things on here once you figure it out. What happens is you actually have to have an audio track that's set to in on the monitor, and the MIDI track set to auto. And then on the Boutique, there's a lot of different channels for the output. So for the primary output, to be able to use the keypads, we've got it set to channel 2. So you can set it to other channels, but what's cool here is that you can actually use the keypads. One thing I found is that if you try to use the KB25, the sequencer on the Kai Force gets kind of hung up and starts doing all kinds of repetitious stuff that you don't want. So I don't know if they're gonna fix that. The one thing I would be, like if you use a Moog grandmother, you can have it so that the keys and the keyboard can be used at the same time. With the Boutique, for some reason, that doesn't work good on the Kai Force, so we had to disconnect the ribbon when it's connected to the Kai Force. That allows you to use the KB25, which, you know, is kind of a pain. We actually use the Live Track L8 to capture what we do on the Kai Force. So we'll actually go into, on the Kai Force, we will go into arranger mode, which we have here. And arranger mode is fantastic because you actually can build a song. The one thing we found is that the vocals, what we do is we output this arranger mode from the Kai Force with these 1/4-inch lines into the L8, capture it and record it onto the L8. And then, sorry, that's a little dusty. And then we are able to then bring in a vocal. And what we've been using is this awesome mic we got from 512 Audio. The Skylight mic, which is fantastic, has a great sound. We've got it hooked up here, and we use this for our podcasting, and we also use it to record. It's got a very lovely sound. Now, part of what we do with expansive sound is like we're Dawless. So we use this Dawless solution, which in arranger mode is fantastic because we can capture the JD-08 into the Kai Force on a track, be able to use the pads to actually construct the track, and also use the clip-based programming to kind of mix things up. So what we tend to do is we'll build a bunch of clips that you see here, and then we'll launch them from the launch side and then arrange the song in that way, which is different than what we do on the other side of the room. So if we get to the other side of the room, it's our standard workflow. We've got like our Moog grandmother with all the CB utilized. So we're actually using the attenuators and the utilities to be able to engage the high pass filter, which doesn't normally work unless you turn it on. And this has a real spring reverb on it. These are our old solution with the R24s out to pasture. But what we have here is a Roland System 1M, which is a fantastic synth. Has a lot of character. It's old, kind of old 1960s, 70s Roland stuff. Then we've got the Atreya Mainboat 2S, which is a fantastic analog synth. We are using it in combination with their module solution, which is the Rack Brew 6U. And what we did is we took the Moog Mother 32 out of its enclosure and took the DFAM out and put it in here. We also added a Make Noise Morphogene, which is their analog, well, their Eurorack sampler, Make Noise Malt system that allows us to combine signals, and then the Maths module, which is a fantastic module for utilities. And then from Pittsburgh Modular, a 2x2 mixer, which allows us to take VCA signals and actually mix them before they come out of here. So basically our solutions, we take the Eurorack, all the signals from the Eurorack are coming out of this Pittsburgh 2x2 mixer, which is taking the VCA signals and then bringing it into the master on the Mainboat 2S and then outputting it on a 1/4-inch mono line. That mono line then goes into an MX1 performance mixer and then goes out as a stereo, output that we've manually created by taking the mono input into this MX1 performance mixer, which also takes in USB audio from our Juno GI, which is our main polysynth since 2008. We got a JDXI on top that we primarily use for its digital parts and its drum machine parts, because it actually is a fantastic drum machine. And you can see, you can actually have like a TR-909 on here. You can scroll through it. You can have 808, 707, 727, all kinds of cool stuff. So we actually use that as a drum machine, and we kick it off with this Arturia this Arturia Beatstep Pro, which we have the drum line being used to extend the sequence. Which we've been doing this since 2008. Is a lot of our drums come from this combination of the JDXI and the Arturia Mini Brew 2S, which we find very fantastic because you can just run all kinds of programs on it, run a randomization on it, so you can actually run like a swing and a randomness and a probability and get it to change up. And you can easily shift rhythms very fast, and you can jump from programs with no latency. So you can go from one program to the next. So when we use it for live performing on drums, it's fantastic for us. In addition, we use the DFAM a lot, being modified by the Mats module, or we're using the LFOs, because there's 2 LFOs on this machine that we'll use to actually kick off is LFO 1 and 2 on the Arturia Mini Brew 2S that we actually use to modify the drums on the Moog. And there's overlays which are interesting on this DFAM that allow you to have different patches. Primarily we're using this kick, bass, and snare, but then we modified it. We're not doing exactly what it says it should do. Again, the grandmother is fantastic, but the latest thing we got for Behringer is this Ultra, with this DI Ultra Pro DI box, which lets us take in 1/4-inch signals from our analog instruments. And the reason for that is if you go onto this Moog and you look at the 1/4-inch output, one of the issues is that the 1/4-inch output on a Moog is actually a headphone output. So if you try to bring that into our recording solution over here, which is the new R20 from Zoom, you can see it only has 2 1/4-inch lines in, and we're taking the stereo output of the Roland MX1 and bringing it in there so we can bring multiple instruments in, like our Juno, our VT3 vocal transformer, which is using this mic here from Studio Electronics. And we're also using the Soyuz launcher on this other mic over here from Zoom. So we're using a ZDM1 going into a Soyuz launcher, which is an awesome preamp. And we're really sorry for our friends at Soyuz Microphone, what's going on in Ukraine, but they're a fantastic company. I hope they can still continue given the sanctions and stuff. But this makes a great sound. It's the first time I really like using my unaffected voice with this launcher a lot in some new songs. Then when I use my Josephine electric voice, I pitch it up and use the format, and typically use either direct, scatter, or megaphone. You can control the mix balance, you control the mic sensitivity, and this is a cool, we like to use this one. It's monophonic. There's a more modern version of this we got over here. Put out the pasture right now. Get it out, but we actually have a VT4. But we've been using the VT3 because it actually has a power plug. It makes it a little easier right now. We'll go back to the VT4. It has a different sound. We're going to use it on some new recordings later today. But then, what's fantastic about what I was talking about, the DI box, is it allows you to take in a 1/4-inch signal and then bring it in as XLR. And what's going on this new Zoom is it's got a touch screen. And what's cool is you can grab these tracks and you could actually move them around. You can actually manipulate them. You can actually mute them if you have to mute them. It's just interesting because you can move these tracks around, and anything that's coming in here. So now we've got like the MX1 input coming on lines 1 and 2. We've got a grandmother coming in, and then we've got the Arturia Mini Brew 2S, DFAM, and the Arturia Mini Brew, and the Moog Mother 32 coming in on this line. And then we've got the vocal affected from the Soyuz launcher coming on this line. And what happens is all those lines get their own stem, which is fantastic, which is basically allows us to actually control the levels on all these things in like a DAW-like way, which is something that you couldn't do before. And now you can, on the Zoom, right at the instrument, you can control it, and you can get into this other view, which now I gotta get out of it. But what's interesting is you can get into this view where you can see all the faders, and you have to do a couple of things with these things. Like when you get to do this, you have to latch the faders when you first start. If you don't latch them, then you can have trouble. So you actually have to latch all the faders and control them. This is a 16 track machine. The one thing we could say also is that the effects on it are great, but you can only apply them to everything, which would be cool if you could actually not do that. We're using a wireless solution here that allows us to have a wireless headphone. And, you know, this is basically our output, is that we're able to, on this DI box, which is really cool, is you can actually, you know, have a lift in the ground, a plus 6 dB and plus 12 dB on the gain. So you basically can take an input on a 1/4 inch and output it as an XLR. And actually on the back side of it, there's more XLR outputs, so you can actually have multiple outputs coming from this. But it really takes the Moog signal and makes it available for recording, because if you don't have that DI box, you basically can't get the sound of this Moog into that Zoom R20. Only way you can get it in is you would have to bring it in on line 1 as high Z. And then we want to use these 1/4 inch lines to bring in the MX1. So we had to get that machine over there to actually convert the signal, which when you start doing Dawless recording, a couple of tricks is like you use a DI box, use a second mixer to take your monophonic signals and make them stereo, which is what this MX1 is doing. And we love this MX1. We wish Roland would update this to have more USB inputs. There's only one powered USB on this thing, which we use to power the Arturia Beat Step Pro. We would ask Roland to make maybe like 6 USBs, maybe make them USB-C. Also make more of them powered. Increase the number of lines coming in. Maybe add some analog processing to this thing, and just you know, update it so that it has, maybe it has a touch screen, has more inputs and outputs, more I/O, more, because it's a great machine. We still use it because it works really well, because we use it for USB audio on our Juno, JDXI, and our Arturia, and our System 1M are all coming in through the MX1, which allows us to control the levels, apply effects, do all kinds of interesting things. So this is the heart of our hardware recording studio. This is the old style Fam Electric Ghost. This is what we do when we actually go on the road. This is what we bring as a one-person band. And this thing does basically allow me to sound like a full band, because I let the sequencers from multiple sequencers. There's a sequencer on the Mother 32, sequencer on the DFAM. There's a sequencer on the Arturia Mini Brute 2S. We got this primary sequencer here that's doing up to 3 lines in a drum. And then, you know, we've also got the ability to mute and unmute tracks and run audio on this. So we can actually run a file. And what's cool on this R20 is you could bring in a WAV file. Once you convert it to 44.1 megahertz, you can actually bring it in, have it be on track 1 and 2, and then, you know, make sure it doesn't have vocals or something, and then play with it. And then you can open up these other tracks and then actually have the ability to play a song, kind of like what you do if you were going and playing against a DAW, but more like what the Who used to run Bob O'Reilly and a lot of Who's Next tracks by running a reel-to-reel. It's kind of like running a reel-to-reel, but then you can run effects on it. You can actually change things up. You could put it in a loop. You could do all kinds of things. So it gives you more. I like using this to play with and have muted and unmuted tracks more reliable than a computer. I never really go on stage with a computer other than to use it to actually film me or put me, send the output live streaming. So this is the whole workflow. Again, we love the Soyuz launcher. We know the whole thing with Russia, people might be boycotting. I don't think you should hurt the company, but I understand for the Ukrainian people, you probably do have to stop buying Russian products. And that's a shame because this is a great product and they have great products, and hopefully they can find a way to be on the market. And the supply of stuff they have in the market right now, hopefully is enough to keep them going until this whole crisis ends. But yeah, we love doing hardware recording. It's kind of what we're about. We've always done that, either using this R20 solution or back on the other side of the room using Deck High Force, as we talked about, with this Roland Boutique, which we find this boutique is fantastic. Because they're getting into this boutique again, the fact that Roland was able to do a lot of cool things. This is like 128 voices. It has, the controls are small, and people complain that the faders are small. But this thing is fantastic. This can give my Moog grandmother a run for the money. I mean, for a digital synth, it is very powerful. It has really good bass. It's got screeching, crazy leads that are really affected by the way the TVF and the TVA work. And, you can see the diagram on here and how you can approach programming it. But this thing is a wonder box. I'm very happy. I hope that this form factor for the boutique has continued, because they got rid of the ability to do the pitch bend and added more functionality, which on these things, it's great that they do that. This synth is so good, it actually deserves a full-size version again. But if we can't get it, this is a really good, I would recommend that if you like D50s and you're into the JD-08 or the J800, this is a fantastic synth. We picked it over the JX-08 just because we find the Roland digital synths have some cool things about them. Going back to the D50, and even like the JDXI and the JDXA are just fantastic. So we'll talk to you later. We're gonna show some of the songs that we've done in this method in the next segment. So we're back, and that was just a preview of, well, not just talking about our process in an in-depth way, showing our actual hardware synths and how we actually use them over the years. And we've collected these for a long time. So the other thing we're going to get into is we're actually going to get into a song that we used using the DI box, and using, in this particular song, it's using our hardware workflow that we just discussed, not using the JD-08 on this one, but we're using the Moog and the DFAM and the DI box and the R20 to create this song that we think is somewhat interesting. And also the vocals are courtesy of the Soyuz launcher, that we find is an awesome preamp if you want to add some character to your vocals. So we're gonna play the full video we did for the song called Epic Love Never Ends for My Pretty Boo. Okay, here we go. I just want to feel you again. Feel you again. I just want to feel you again. Before the end of it, I just want to feel you again. Before the end of it. Just won't feel again before the end.
I just want love and a friend. God no never ends. When we come back, we'll be more than friends. Cause that's what we let in. I wanna come back, oh my darling, my friend. Begin again. Just because we left it right where we're I just want to be with my lover, my friend. And want to touch her again. On the ether and that. Don't know if you have met. You haven't met to the You're just a human touch will make you feel it's worth everything. If the human touch in this world is so much less, you're busting nobody's a friend. And can you ever really start over again? Begin at the end of all ends. And find your love a while, your darling, and start over again. In the dome city of Mars, and that's where it crashed guitar. In the dome city of Mars, with those crash guitars. Will I love ever get that far? Dome City of Mars, where they crack guitars, where I love, where it hits pretty hard. Dome City of Mars, where they play crash guitar, that's where I love, where it hit pretty hard. Dome City of Mars, where they crack guitar, you know you're my love, take it. In the Dome City of Mars, where they crash guitars, me and my lover hit it hard, always take it so far. Don't say of Mars where they crack guitar, like lady in love, like to hit it hard. Do what we can, be in love, and know it's all we're thinking. End of all ends with my love, my soulmate, my friend. see a more the crack guitars and the baby hit it hard.
So we're back, and that was Love for My Pretty Boo, and was an example using our hardware workflow process. And we have another song we're actually going to show, which is the next track that we have coming up there. So we just got to get to the next song. Here, we just got to scroll it forward. Now, Strawberry in My Teeth is the next song we did with the DI box. So here we go.
Today was such a good day.
No, I guess it's not.
Wasn't trying to play any games in the headspace.
This has the JD-08.
Always okay. I got free. To play the way games. Out on the net. Looking at a play. Maybe I should be. So I lay. Today had been such a good day. Wasn't trying to play any games in the headspace. Then I got so damn afraid. Running back on the games. Different names, same face. But you know the alright. Same name. Different face, different game, playing the headspace. But okay, today we had such a good day. Had a good day. Had a break the cut more than I wanted you to say. Told me about from whence you came. Something I've been trying to rack my brain. Back on your 6 years ago. Wasn't trying to play in the headspace. I found out from where she came. Want to be always okay. Don't want to play that game. In the headspace. Want to learn from where she came. Then we had such a good day. Then I got free. New song, face, but not the same name. We can run in the catfish game. We can Tinder, it's not okay. We such a good day. Why go on Tinder? Not so not okay, but found it there. playing in headphones.
So we're gonna change gears and play the other song called "Strawberry in My Teeth" because that's the one I really liked. Was able to get them both to sound like a sax. So hold on.
Today was just when I got the strawberry in the cream. I wanna put it in the pink so she'll scream. I'm just ready to get into that scene. And she tells me not what she needs. She told me I'm not what I need. Just when I'm ready to put the strawberry in the cream. And put it right with cherry on top should be. And put it with a strawberry on top should be. She's in the tightest micro-milli on the scene. There's no period in the line on the diamond that you can see. Girl, she's a tease. Just when I put the cherry on top of the cream. Put the strawberry in the deep pit with my teeth. She don't need no she just really good. With the cherry on the cream. That's what she told me that I'm not what she needs. Just when I'm ready to put the strawberry in with the cream. Just when I'm ready to put the strawberry back in with my teeth. Just when I'm ready to put the strawberry back in with my teeth. And she tells me that I'm not what she needs. And she says I'm a tease. And I'm with that Debbie John Queen. She said, how could I be what you need? Don't you put the cherry on the cream? You put the strawberry in with your tea. But last night you were with that Louisiana queen. You put the cherry on top with the cream. How could I possibly be what you need? When you're with that Cajun queen, you put the cherry on top with the cream. When you're with me, you'll put the strawberry in with your tea. Yeah, and you say that I'm a tea. When you're with me, you say you put the strawberry in with your tea.
So we just wanted to give you a sample of that. Sometimes the sound quality coming off of YouTube is not exactly what we want, but we're gonna get back into it. So hold a second, we're back to our normal view. But the idea there was we were able to kind of channel a sax type of sound out of the grandmother, and we were able to get some separation between the drum on that is a DFAM, and it's basically the DFAM. In the background, really low, there's a Juno grand piano I'm playing, very kind of shadow like. It's very low in the mix. It's kind of very much inspired by Tom Waits type of song. It's a very guttural, trying to do the like Bone Machine type of version, and using a lot of sexual connotations between strawberry on the cream and cherry on the cream and all that kind of stuff there. All good stuff. But the vibe was definitely Tom Waits type of vibe of kind of do a lo-fi, and the grandmother can kind of channel uh, through its ability with its just the CP3 mixer in combination with the real spring reverb, and then I ran it through the DI box. I got some separation, so I was able to get the drum track to be kind of heard, to be snappy, and then have the sax coming through, and the the Soyuz launcher on the voice allowed my voice to kind of stand out. So it's interesting that the algorithm on YouTube sometimes it takes, there was a lot more in the SoundCloud version of that song, and we're putting this out. So the final version of the song, there's a lot more warmth, and other the effects are coming through a little bit better. The compression on YouTube is kind of cutting out some of the cherry on top for that song. It's kind of disappointing. But the video does show our video capabilities of what we tend to do. A lot of cool mixture. What we'll do is actually do a live performance, then go take a couple iPhone apps and actually use effects and overlay the effects on the original live performance. So that song was actually done live on the first take. And then there was overdub piano into it. And then it was treated when it finally got put on the SoundCloud. It's going to be on a new album that we're working on. We haven't fully figured out the name of it. But this new album is taking advantage of the fact that we got the JD-08 Boutique. We're using the DI box. We're using the Soyuz launcher. And instead of using the Josephine vocal, we're actually using my vocal. In some cases, we're using this mic. When we tend to record with the Kai Force, we use this mic. When we're over on the other side of the room, we're using the Soyuz launcher, or we're using the stand, the Studio Electronics microphone going through VT3 or VT4 for Josephine electric vocals. So again, thank you for listening. We're going to have a really cool interview tonight. We're going to be talking to a really awesome artist that we're excited about. And, every week we always have at least one or two guests that we talk about from around the world. So we're going to have Sharina Parker. And she's out of LA, but she's from Iraq. And she's got a really cool sound. And we're going to talk about her new EP is coming out, and do like a behind the music. So that's at 9:00 New York time. It will be on all the channels you see here. Again, it's Sharina Parker. If you check out our Instagram, you can see we've been promoting it. So we're hopefully you'll check it out. You can always check it out after the fact, but it'd be cool if you could join us live. Sharina Parker at 9 p.m. New York time. We're doing a full kind of behind the music interview. And if you're a musician and you want to be on the show, we don't charge. We have sponsors. Like you see, we got sponsors like Double Jack and Newsly. Just give us a DM on our Fam Electric Ghost on Facebook, or Family Electric Ghost on Instagram, and we can schedule an interview. And we interview actors, musicians, other podcasters, influencers, models. So, check that out. Again, you can contact us on Instagram at Family Electric Ghost, all one word, through a DM. We just need your time zone, country you're in. We need you to send us a short bio, some promotional photos, a YouTube link, and all your streaming URLs. You can do that through the DM, or we'll get in touch with you and we'll do it through StreamYard. So if you're on StreamYard, you can do what you use an iPhone in like a landscape mode, but it's recommended that you do PC or a laptop, Mac with a mic like this, or any kind of mic you're using for your recordings with your audio solution. And so then you also have to have Chrome web browser to be able to access this and use headphones and have good Wi-Fi or good LTE 5G type of thing. So that's the mechanics of it. Thank you for listening. Please, if you're on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. That helps us out. If you're on Twitch, also become subscribe. And anywhere like on Facebook, also subscribe to us and send this out to your friends. And if you're interested about an interview, and we also do live concerts. And we are working on doing ticketed concerts. If you want to talk to us about setting up a Facebook event, we're going to be working with some people. We're going to try it ourselves, do a ticketed Facebook event and see if we can get that kind of going. But there's a way to do that. You can set that up. I think the RTM or RMTP or whatever, but there's something like that. You can set up a scheduled event through StreamYard and Facebook events and set up a concert. Kind of like we do the Peg Bedroom Producer Festival, where we have lots of bands, but now we're going to actually do showcase events where we'll have bands actually perform through our network and see if that can work for you. So talk to us, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you very much for listening to Family Electric Ghost.